Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu salam ala Rasulullah. We continue reading from Imam Al-Ghazali's Criterion of Action with an Amal. And if you are following the Dar Minhaj edition, Arabic edition, of course, we are on page 241. And we are going to read the ninth duty. These are the duties, of course, of the student of knowledge. The ninth duty is to know the types of sciences in general terms, which are three: sciences pertaining to lexical items, inasmuch as they denote meanings; sciences pertaining to meanings, inasmuch as lexical items denote them; and sciences pertaining to pure meanings. The sciences pertaining to lexical items are those by which meanings are known through the senses. For the purpose of identifying the lexical items determined by usage in order to designate them. These comprise two categories. The first is the science of languages, and the second are its supplementary sciences, such as the sciences of derivation, syntax, grammar, morphology, and prosody, and so on, to such subjects as phonetics. The sciences pertaining to meanings inasmuch as lexical items denote them are argument, dialectic, argumentation, demonstration, and rhetoric. The one who studies these sciences must know language and the designations and meanings of lexical items, and the order of their occurrence, and how they are arranged. If this arrangement leads to the attainment of certain knowledge, it constitutes a demonstration. If it leads to the defeat of an interlocutor, it constitutes an argument. If it convinces the soul in a way that occasions a gradual shift in perspective, it constitutes rhetoric and counsel. It can also be called a proof, dalil, in the sense that it guides يدل يدل the listener towards the intended goal and directs them towards the beliefs wherein their salvation lies. This is the case for most of the proofs found in the reports, akhbar, and the Quran that are used as evidence against the unbelievers, which are the most useful of proofs and the most beneficial for the common good. As for certain demonstrative proofs, they can be independently perceived and understood only by the greatly learned truth realizers, أكابر العلماء المحققين, who are exceedingly few and far between. Okay. The translator made mention sciences pertaining to meanings inasmuch as lexical items denote them. He said the Arabic text omits the second type of science and lists only the first and third, which must be a scribal error. The science the sciences pertaining to lexical items, that's these are known through the senses. هو ما عرفت به المعاني بالحس, whether the Arabic or the English. There must be something missing, not from the text, but in terms of what lexical items are those by which meanings are known through the senses. But we have lexical items that are not known through the senses. At any rate, in fact, I'm just going to give an example. If we say a triangle, that cannot be known through the senses. A square, the same thing. The root, if you talk about, and the equation, all the concepts of multiplication, these are meanings that are not known through the senses. As for debate, continue reading. It is the least useful of these categories for the purpose of guidance. For the learned man will not be convinced by an argument whose evidentiary value is based on his adversary's acceptance of premises that he himself does not accept. And the common man will not understand the argument at all, because his mind is not strong enough to perceive it. Most often, when a man loses debate, he holds to his beliefs and blames himself for not arguing well enough for them. If only the founder of my school were alive and here now, he tells himself, he would have succeeded where I failed. Most of the dialogues among the theologians of different sects consists of such arguments as do the dialogues among the jurists. This is why dialogue very seldom results in a person abandoning his school of thought for another. If dialogue does not achieve that end, mind you, debate. You might win the debate. I mean, you might want to believe that you won the debate. scoring points in a debate, but ultimately people might not change their position. And this is, it seems, the case when one tries to debate and expects the person to change immediately. And today it's done right there, broadcasted on TV, on online. It's as for the third category that comprises sciences pertaining to pure meaning, they are of two kinds: the purely intellectual and the purely practical. The intellectual are knowledge of Allah and knowledge of the angels and prophets, that is, knowledge of prophethood and its levels, and the levels of the angels, the dominion of heaven and earth, the signs upon the horizons and within the souls. Well, that's also another category unto itself, in the sense of um, the lexical sciences, where the meaning is related to the senses. The metaphysical cannot be learned through the senses. The meanings are ultimately intellectual. The senses supply information that are processed by reason. The signs upon the horizons and within the souls, and the creatures Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala dispersed throughout the earth. Then there is knowledge, when the creatures that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala dispersed through the earth. All this talk about parallel universes, multiverses, and whether there is an earth similar to ours in a parallel universe where people live, and they are almost mirroring our life. There was an interview with Richard Dawkins, who's really an atheist. And to begin with, he is a scientist, but he abandoned science and the methodology, the scientific methodology. No matter how much we would differ, let's agree on every single aspect of his scientific methodology for 1 minute, and see that when he was interviewed about the possibility of life on another planet, and he started even describing what they could be doing, the other creatures or human beings, or that is, he abandoned science at all. He started speculating. Science, by definition, is something that you could verify. At any rate, alhamdulillah, we are not in his shoes. I'm not. Then there is knowledge of the heavenly bodies and higher effects, knowledge of the categories of all existence, and how they are arranged with one another and connected to one another, and how they are connected to the first real. وكيفية ارتباطها بالأول الحق المقدس, who is too holy to be connected to any other, المقدس على الارتباط بغيره, and how they are connected to the who is too holy to be connected to any other, and knowledge of the resurrection, the gathering, the assembly, paradise, hell, the bridge, the balance, and knowledge of the jinn and the devils. Then there is the realization of how the common people understand all the foregoing terms, such that they form from them an image of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as being upon the throne, spatially above the world and preceding it in time, and what they believe about the angels and devils, and the states of the hereafter, paradise and hell. Are these things truly the way they imagine them to be, without any distinction? Or are they parables and images, with meanings aside from their external import? The realization of these matters with truth and sincerity, devoid of doubts and misgivings, detached from conjecture, constitutes the pure theoretical sciences that pertain to the intellect and not to action. As for the practical sciences of pure meaning, they are the revealed law, jurisprudence, and the teachings of the prophetic sunnah. This means knowledge of the governance of the soul with good character, and was discussed earlier, and knowledge of the direction of the household. Knowledge of the direction of the household, children, food, and clothing, and the manner of livelihood and transaction. Knowledge of the direction of the household. التدبير originally, if we speak about the meaning of economy, the original Greek, because it's the economia, it's originally household economy, if you will, household management, tadbir, because it is followed by food, clothing, livelihood transactions. Yeah. The Imam Al-Ghazali says this is the science of jurisprudence, including the domains of transactions, marriage, and criminal justice. I say it's the economy, or today we might say household, economy, but the تدبير المنزل, تدبير المنزلي. Unfortunately, I think I did comment at one point about this. They do teach it to girls rather than and not boys in school, and it is reduced, the economy, the house, تدبير المنزلي. It is usually reduced to making some cakes or biscuits. That's not تدبير منزلي. That's very poor concept of تدبير منزلي. And this is why the thinking that you cannot build a family and manage the financial aspects by knowing. Uh, and managing is basically having short term, long term. You would know that down the road, بإذن الله عز وجل, inshallah. That down the road, you'll have kids who are going to go to universities. There should be plans for housing. There should be plans for. It should not begin with cake and end up with cake being metaphorically the only thing that you are going to discuss as when people get engaged in preparation for the wedding party and what's after. What happens after what people call a honeymoon if there is no knowledge of if people don't talk about the serious issues, values, ethics, morality, education. This is a very, very superficial notion of tadbir. So it's not really what I started by commenting on, and knowledge of the direction of the household. It's tadbir. It's the economy, but really, it's not only money. It's everything. Because we talk about political economy, we talk about it's a package anyhow. This is the science of jurisprudence, Imam Ghazali continues, including the domains of transactions, marriage, and criminal justice. Once their types have been learned, it is necessary to learn their levels, so that one's life is not wasted on matters that are not essential or virtually essential. The one who suffices with the first type of science, the one pertaining to lexical items, thereby confines himself to the outer shell alone. The one who suffices only with grammar, syntax, prosody, and phonetics suffices with the mere aspects of this outer shell. As for the one who does not rest here, but instead delves deeper into the study of the method for identifying true proofs, he is engaged in a truly important task. Yet, if he suffices with it, he restricts himself to the instrument and the means. He is like a pilgrim who buys a camel and readies his provisions and saddle, but then stays put in his house. This science is important and necessary because it is an essential tool, but it is useless if not used for the proper purpose. This is no good in a weapon that is never wielded. As for the one who delves into the practical sciences but confines himself to them, by which I mean jurisprudence and its details, he is almost like the one who confines himself to the study of language, although of a higher status than him, just as the study of language is of higher status than the study of dancing, raqs, and music, zamr. Though far removed from the actual purpose of knowledge, this requires an example to flesh it out. Suppose that a master pledges to free his slave on condition that he perform the Hajj and promises to give him the wealth he needs to attain a dignified position afterwards. That he performs should be, I think. At any rate, the slave must pass through 3 stations in order to win the happiness of freedom and what will come after it. Different manuscripts we have 2 possibilities. Some manuscripts used ri'asa rather than sa'ada. So to win happiness, uh, to preside over others. So it's not happiness of freedom rather than ri'asa, to become. And the first is to prepare the means by purchasing a camel, readying the saddlebags, and packing provisions. The saddlebags, we talk about really water, الراوية. The second is to head out from home and travel to the destination 1 stage at a time. The third is to engage in the Hajj, 1 rite after another. Then he will have his freedom, as well as the right to wealth, with which he may attain happiness. Each of these stations contains stages, from making the first preparations to the last, then from the beginning of the journey to the end. The one who has begun the rites of Hajj is nearer to happiness than the one who is still beginning the preparations, or the one who is just setting out on the journey. And of course, the message should be already clear by now. With regard to our present subject, Imam Ghazali now tries to link the example to perfecting the soul. The Hajj here symbolizes the perfecting of the soul by preferring character and detaching from all vices, as well as by the disclosure of realities to it. The wealth that leads to the attainment of a dignified position symbolizes death, which lifts the veil between the person and the level of witnessing his own soul and its perfection and beauty, that he may see himself among the perfected ones in the heights of paradise and rejoice therein forever. The traversal of the stages of the road one after another symbolizes the journey of refining character traits by eliminating base traits from the soul one after another and seeking the theoretical sciences we have described above all others, one science after another. The preparation of the saddlebags and purchase of the provisions and the camel symbolize all the other sciences which serve the theoretical ones, such as the sciences of jurisprudence and language. The student of jurisprudence is like the one who readies a saddlebag, and the one who confines himself to it is like the one who suffices with a saddlebag and nothing else. The one who suffices with the study of language like the one who suffices with tanning the leather from which the saddlebag is made. For example, since the pilgrim requires tanned leather, the one who spends his time engrossed in the minutiae of jurisprudence and all the divergent opinions this involves in the current age, which did not exist at the time of the companions of the Prophet ﷺ. This person would be like the one who spends his time facetiously tending to his saddlebag after it has been sewn up and improving the seam. You might ask, if what you have just said is your own belief, then it is contrary to the consensus of all the jurists. Moreover, if you are merely recounting it, then who actually does believe it? My answer is that I am merely recounting it from the school about whom this book is principally concerned, namely the Sufis. They would agree with the meaning of this parable, although it does not actually come from them. You might then ask, is that what they say true or not? My answer is that this book is not concerned with demonstrating the truth or falsehood of these matters, but only with imparting counsels to alert the reader to his potential heedlessness and guide him to the proper goals, so that he does not overlook what they described, since he is not unlikely to be at risk of it in his beginnings. The seeker of knowledge and guidance ought to look into this matter, so that he may learn its secret and its danger. You might now, Imam Ghazali, we'll just read the question and we will postpone the answer, inshallah, until tomorrow. So you might then say, and these are of course, Imam Ghazali's style, you might then say, although I do not believe in the way of the Sufis, my soul will not allow me to fall so low in their estimation and be seen in this light, having spent my life in the study of jurisprudence and its disagreements and schools. Why do you say that their perspective demands this? Inshallah, we will leave the answer until tomorrow بإذن عز وجل. Until then, سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.